There is something very unusual in the way the ancient world viewed food. They did not eat simply to fill themselves. They ate to sustain life, in its deepest sense, not just to get through another day, but to preserve the body and the mind from declining over time. Today, we speak about longevity as a number. But in the Bible, longevity is always tied to clarity, strength, and the ability to stand firm. Not just living longer, but living with enough awareness to see clearly, enough strength to keep moving forward, and enough peace to remain steady amid everything happening around you. Today, you will not see complicated recipes. You will see things that have always been there from the very beginning. Simple foods that appear quietly in biblical stories, yet touch the deepest mechanisms of the body that modern science is only beginning to understand. They are not secrets because they were hidden, but because they became so familiar that they were overlooked. We now enter the 7 longevity secrets from the Bible. These are specific foods designed to restore muscle strength, soothe aching joints, and return to you the resilience you may have thought was lost years ago. The secret of a seed that naturally lubricates the joints, a food that keeps the mind clear and pushes back the fog of aging, and how to bring these sacred ingredients into your modern life. Prepare yourself a cup of tea, sit down, and join me on this journey back to original health, because turning 60 is not the beginning of the end, but the opening of a new chapter of more enduring strength. Subscribe and turn on notifications to receive the gifts created by our all-knowing and great living God, who has given us these remarkable foods. Now, let us begin. Number 1. Walnut, the clarity of the mind. There are foods that seem to be created to make a person pause and reflect. The walnut is one of them. In Song of Solomon 6:1-1, there is a line that says, "I went down into the garden of nuts to see the young plants of the valley." Why among so many kinds of trees is the walnut mentioned in the context of growth and observation? Ancient scholars believed in the theory of signatura rerum, the signature of all things. They believed that the Creator left marks on food to guide us in how to use it. Look at the walnut. Simply crack the hard outer shell, and you will see that the kernel inside almost takes the shape of a miniature brain. It has 2 symmetrical halves, with complex folds, and is protected by a hard shell like a skull. It is his signature for the human brain. They are the food of the journey. Food that can be carried far. Food that is small yet rich in energy. When Jacob sent his sons down to Egypt in Genesis 43, he chose the finest products of the land: balsam, honey, spices, myrrh, pistachios, and almonds. These things were not bulky yet. They were valuable. They represented concentration, the essence of what the land could offer. The walnut belongs to that same spirit, a small seed yet dense. It does not require a large meal or elaborate preparation. Just a few pieces are enough to carry healthy fats, minerals, polyphenols, and lasting energy. That is why it is fitting to begin the list today, because after the age of 60, our blood-brain barrier begins to weaken, leading to mental fog and memory decline. The walnut is the only nut that contains a highly concentrated level of alpha-linolenic acid ALA, a plant-based form of omega-3. When it enters the body, ALA is not simply fat. It serves as a building material for the protective layer surrounding nerve cells, known as myelin. Modern biological research shows that the polyphenols in walnuts can counter oxidative stress and inflammation in neurons, which are the enemies that lead to memory loss in old age. Eating walnuts is like providing lubrication for the thinking machine that God has given you. A serving of walnuts, about 28 grams or a small handful, provides around 2.5 grams of ALA, a plant-based omega-3. While many other nuts are known mainly for fat or protein, walnuts stand out because they are among the richest sources of ALA in a normal diet. They also contain polyphenols and vitamin E antioxidants that help protect cells from oxidative stress, which quietly increases as the years pass. The secret lies in activating life. Walnuts contain a high amount of phytic acid and tannins in their thin skin, which can block nutrient absorption and place strain on the digestive system of older adults. To release their healing power, soak the walnut kernels in warm water with a little sea salt for 6 to 8 hours. This process mimics sprouting, awakening dormant enzymes and neutralizing inhibitors. Then dry them at a low temperature to preserve the valuable oils. Each day, only 7 walnuts. The number of completeness in the Bible are enough to nourish your clarity. The lesson of the walnut is a lesson of protection and awakening. Just as the hard shell protects the precious kernel inside, our minds need to be protected by faith. Against the chaos of the world, clarity after 60 is not only about remembering small things, but about having enough awareness to reflect on the Word of God and to pass wisdom on to the next generation. When you eat walnuts, pray for clarity, so that your mind will always be a green and living garden. As described in Song of Solomon. Number 2. Bitter herbs. The cleansing of the liver and the restoration of the digestive system. Passover. There are tastes that are not meant to bring immediate comfort. Bitterness is one of them. It is not sweet like honey, not rich like olive oil, not gentle like fresh bread from the oven. Bitterness enters the mouth directly and almost forces the body to awaken. That is why in the Bible it is not treated as something unnecessary. It is placed within one of the most important meals of the people of Israel, the Passover. Exodus 1:2-8 instructs, "They shall eat the meat roasted with unleavened bread and bitter herbs." Why, in the most significant night of freedom, does God require his people to eat bitterness? Imagine a Hebrew home on the night of Passover. A small oil lamp. The family standing or sitting in urgency. The lamb has been roasted. The unleavened bread is ready. And beside them are bundles of bitter herbs, perhaps wild greens, sharp, pungent, intense, not easy to swallow. A child tasting them may frown. An elder tasting them may fall silent, because that taste does not only touch the tongue, it touches memory. In the Bible, bitterness is a reminder of the suffering in Egypt, but biologically, it is a profound medical design for the body's own passage. At the age of 60, blood flow to the liver decreases, and the production of digestive enzymes in the stomach declines significantly. Bitterness is the only taste capable of activating the bitter reflex the moment it touches the taste receptors on the tongue. This reflex immediately sends signals to the brain to stimulate the liver to release bile and the pancreas to release enzymes. Without bitterness, the aging body falls into sluggish digestion, leading to toxin accumulation and increased pressure on the immune system. Bitter herbs act as a biological broom, helping to cleanse liver fat and restore the ability of the intestines to absorb protein. But bitter herbs are not only symbolic. The human body responds strongly to bitterness. When bitterness touches the tongue, it awakens bitter receptors, activating saliva, gastric juices, bile, and digestive enzymes. In simple terms, bitterness tells the body, prepare to digest, wake up, begin your work. That is why in many traditional medical systems, bitterness is always associated with the liver, the gallbladder, and the intestines. Not because it is pleasant, but because it compels the body to return to its natural order. To fully benefit from their properties, choose dark green herbs, such as dandelion, kale, or bitter lettuce. Cleansing method: eat bitter greens in their freshest form at the beginning of a meal. Wash them thoroughly. Allow them to dry then. Mix with a little extra virgin olive oil, a few drops of lemon, and a small amount of sea salt. Eat a small portion before the main meal or alongside a light protein dish. There is no need for large amounts. Combining them with olive oil and a slight sour taste from apple cider vinegar or lemon not only softens the intensity, but also activates the absorption of vitamins A, D, E, and K within the herbs. If the bitterness is too strong, juice them and drink a small amount as a sacred dose before breakfast. The lesson of bitter herbs is cleansing in order to receive what is new. The people of Israel had to eat bitterness to release the past of slavery before entering the promised land. In the journey of restoring health after 60, sometimes you must accept the bitterness of changing habits, letting go of harmful foods to gain a purified body. Bitterness is not punishment. It is preparation. When your liver is clean, your eyes will be clear, and when your heart is clean, your soul will be at peace. Number 3. Flaxseed, the thread that connects health and the revelation of purity. In the ancient world, flax was a symbol of purity and righteousness. The garments of the priests in the temple and even the burial cloth of Jesus were made from fine linen. People cultivated flax, separated the fibers, wove the fabric, and used it for the most sacred purposes. Yet, behind that pure white cloth was a seed carrying a remarkable power of connection for human health, the flaxseed. From a deep biological perspective, flaxseed is the richest plant source of lignans on Earth, up to 800 times more than any other food. For those over 60, lignans act as regulators of hormones, helping to protect the bones, joints, and cardiovascular system from the wear of time. In particular, the outer layer of flaxseed contains a valuable mucilage. When it enters the digestive tract, it forms a protective coating that soothes inflammation and restores the microbiome, which forms the foundation of 70% of the immune system. Flaxseed does not only nourish, it connects and repairs the fractures within your cellular system. Now consider what makes flaxseed truly remarkable after the age of 60. 1 tablespoon of ground flaxseed, about 7 grams, contains nearly 2 grams of fiber and around 1.6 grams of ALA, a plant-based omega-3. With 2 tablespoons, you receive about 4 grams of fiber and more than 3 grams of ALA. Compared to a slice of typical white bread, which contains less than 1 gram of fiber, flaxseed delivers far more fiber in a much smaller amount. This is not a difference in taste, it is a difference in how the body manages blood sugar, cholesterol, and intestinal function. Agility does not begin in the legs, it begins in metabolism. A body with unstable blood sugar cannot maintain steady energy. A sluggish digestive system makes the whole body feel heavy. A weak microbiome affects inflammation, immunity, and even mood. Flaxseed is small, yet it reaches into these deeper layers. The secret lies in release. Flaxseed has an extremely hard outer shell. If eaten whole, the body cannot break it down and all the nutrients pass through unused. To release its power, flaxseed must be ground just before use to prevent the oxidation of its sensitive omega-3 fatty acids. Use 1 tablespoon of ground flaxseed daily, mixed into warm water, or goat yogurt sprinkled over barley porridge, stirred into warm water with a little honey, or added into ancient bread before baking. An important note: flaxseed absorbs water strongly, so drink more warm water when consuming it. This is how you create a lubricating thread for your joints and blood vessels. Flaxseed represents a quiet connection. Linen fabric is strong because of the tight weaving of thousands of fine fibers. Your health in later years is the same. It is the result of the connection between steady faith and the consistent habit of nourishing your body each day. When you sprinkle these seeds into your meals, remember that purity is not only found on the surface but in how you care for and connect every smallest part within the temple of the body that God has entrusted to you. Number 4. Herbal bone broth, the pillar of strength, and the lesson of restoration from the root. In Ezekiel 2:4-5, there is an instruction about boiling bones in a pot until all the essence is released. The ancients wasted nothing because they understood that the strength of a living being does not lie in the soft flesh, but in the solid frame where marrow and life are held. Broth did not appear as a health trend. It appeared as part of daily life. In Judges 6:1-9, Gideon prepared a young goat, made unleavened bread, placed the meat in a basket and the broth in a pot, and brought it before the messenger of God. That detail is small yet deeply significant. In the ancient world, a pot of hot broth was not just food. It was welcome. It was care. It was the way a kitchen offered the deepest part of itself. Imagine the stone house of Gideon. Outside is a land of unrest, hunger, and fear. Inside, a clay pot rests over a low fire. Goat bones, joints, marrow, a little meat, still clinging to the bone, garlic, onions, wild herbs. No one rushes. No one expects the pot to be ready in minutes. Broth requires time. It requires low heat. It requires patience to draw what lies deep. within the bone, out of its hardest place. From a restorative medical perspective, after the age of 60, the body's ability to produce collagen declines by more than 50%, leading to the erosion of joint cartilage and increased bone fragility. Slowly simmered bone broth is the most original form of liquid collagen. The long cooking process releases essential amino acids such as glycine and proline, which are direct building blocks for cartilage and connective tissues. In addition, minerals such as calcium, magnesium, and phosphorus in bone broth are present in an ionized form, allowing the aging body to absorb them almost immediately without placing strain on the stomach. This is a therapy that rebuilds the pillar of strength in your body. One properly prepared cup of bone broth can provide around 9 to 10 grams of protein depending on the type of bones and the cooking time. In contrast, a typical quick broth made only for flavor usually contains about 1 to 2 grams of protein. This is not a small difference. It is a gap of 5 to 10 times between something that only enhances taste and something that truly carries the depth of bone marrow and connective tissue. The secret lies in extraction. To draw minerals from the bones, you must add a small amount of acidity, such as apple cider vinegar or lemon juice, into the pot from the beginning. This acid helps pull minerals out of the hard bone structure. Simmer the bones, which may include goat, lamb, or beef bones, with joints, cartilage, and marrow, together with biblical herbs such as garlic and onion, for at least 12 to 24 hours. Herbs make the pot more complete. Garlic brings warmth and sulfur compounds. Onion softens the flavor and adds quercetin. Thyme or hyssop cleans and brightens the broth, making it easier to drink. A little coriander adds freshness and lightness. The ancients did not call this an anti-inflammatory recipe, but they understood that a pot of bones should not contain bones alone. It needs plants alongside to help the body receive it better. The heat must remain low, just enough for gentle bubbles on the surface. This is not simply cooking, it is the process of extracting life. A warm bowl of broth in the morning will help rinse the digestive tract and lubricate your joints for the entire day. Bone broth is restoration from the deepest place. To create a nourishing bowl, the bones must endure the heat of fire for a long time. Aging and pain can sometimes be that fire. But if you know how to face it, those trials will extract resilience and deep compassion within your soul. Do not fear time. Use time to refine and restore strength from the very roots of your faith. Number 5. Sprouted chickpeas, the rising of vital energy. In the dry soil of the Near East, there is a seed shaped like a tear, yet carrying the strength of a warrior: chickpeas. The Bible does not only mention legumes as survival food in times of scarcity in Ezekiel 4:9, but more deeply it contains a code of resurrection. Look at a dry chickpea. It is hard, silent, and seems lifeless. But with a little water and patience, it cracks open and rises. This is not only the sprouting of a plant, it is a living image of shedding the old shell to receive a new and stronger body. Chickpeas are not a side dish. They are the food of those who must endure. They can be stored, carried through difficult seasons, cooked into warm meals, ground into bread, mixed with olive oil, or used to feed a family when meat is not always available. Chickpeas belong to that world. Humble, inexpensive, enduring, yet holding real strength. Imagine a stone kitchen in the early morning. A woman opens a bowl that has been covered with cloth since the night before. Inside are chickpeas that have absorbed water, softer, brighter, as if they have just awakened from a long sleep. She rinses them, lets them drain, and places them back under a damp cloth. She does not rush to boil them or force them into a meal. She understands that some things must be awakened before they are brought into the body. From a cellular biological perspective, at the age of 60, the body often struggles to break down protein and faces a silent state of insulin resistance. Dry chickpeas contain phytates and lectins, natural protective layers that allow the seed to survive for years but create serious barriers to human absorption. A remarkable transformation occurs during sprouting. When chickpeas begin to sprout, a chemical revolution takes place inside. Vitamin C levels increase 5 to 10 times, acting as a carrier that helps collagen reach your joints. At the same time, the process activates the enzyme phytase, which releases locked minerals such as calcium, magnesium, and zinc. For older adults, sprouted chickpeas provide a rich source of soluble fiber and amylose, a slow digesting starch that stabilizes blood sugar, prevents post-meal fatigue, and protects blood vessels from hardening. You are not simply eating a seed, you are receiving a living system of fresh energy created by nature. The secret lies in awakening. Soak chickpeas in pure water for 12 hours to soften their outer shell. Then, place them in a well-ventilated tray and cover them with a damp linen cloth, the fabric of purity. Each day, rinse them twice as an act of care and faith. Do not allow the sprouts to grow longer than 1 centimeter. The most optimal nutritional moment is when the sprout has just emerged about the size of a grain of rice. This is when amino acids are released in their purest form. Steam them lightly for 5 minutes to preserve living enzymes, then mix with olive oil and sea salt. The lesson of sprouted chickpeas is the lesson of waiting in faith. The seed does not sprout immediately when it meets water. It needs a quiet time in darkness beneath the linen cloth. In the journey of restoring health after 60, there will be moments when you feel discouraged because pain does not disappear instantly, or strength does not return as quickly as you hope. But remember the chickpea. The greatest transformations always happen in silence. Chickpeas teach us that as long as you do not give up in the darkness, life will rise at the right moment. When you eat these sprouted seeds, give thanks to the Creator for He never forgets you. Every sprout is a promise that there is always an opportunity for renewal, as long as you are willing to break open and rise. Number 6. Wild berries. The colors of mercy and the blood shield against oxidation. As we move through the lands of the Bible, there is a beauty often overlooked because of its small and humble form, wild berries. From the sycamore fig to the thorny bushes along the roadside, berries do not grow in the refined gardens of palaces. They rise from the harshest ground, facing the heat of the sun and the severity of dust and wind. In the Bible, the deep red and purple colors of berries carry sacred meaning. Red recalls the blood of the covenant of redemption and of mercy. Deep purple is the color of royalty and dignity. The Creator did not randomly give these small fruits such intense colors. He is sending a message that the greatest strength often lives within the smallest forms that have endured the greatest trials. These berries are a gift for the weary traveler, a sign of mercy, to restore strength even in the wilderness. When we pass the age of 60, the body enters a stage that medicine calls systemic oxidation. Imagine your cells as iron slowly rusting under the influence of time, environment, and natural aging. Free radicals attack DNA, weakening vision, wrinkling the skin, and slowing the mind. The power of anthocyanins, wild berries such as blueberries, mulberries, and raspberries contain a unique chemical defense, anthocyanins. These pigments give them their deep red and purple colors, and they are among the most powerful antioxidants known to science. Looking deeper, anthocyanins have the rare ability to cross the blood-brain barrier. When they enter the body, they attach directly to blood vessel walls, improving elasticity and preventing the buildup of cholesterol plaques. For older adults, this means reducing the risk of stroke and stabilizing blood pressure. Berries are also a remedy for the eyes. They stimulate the regeneration of rhodopsin, a pigment in the retina that helps the eyes adapt to darkness and see more clearly. After 60, the eyes do not only need light, they need to be nourished by these colors of mercy to see the world with clarity and brightness. The secret lies in purity and freshness. The power of berries is held within their delicate skin. Never cook berries at high temperatures, because heat destroys the sensitive structure of anthocyanins. Whenever possible, choose wild-grown or organic berries. The harsh conditions of the wild force the plant to produce more antioxidants, to protect itself. And those same compounds will protect you. Begin your day with a small handful, about 30 to 50 grams of berries on an empty stomach. At this moment, the pH level in the stomach is ideal for these deep-colored molecules to be absorbed directly into the bloodstream. Mix berries with fermented goat yogurt, as mentioned earlier. The probiotics in the yogurt help the antioxidants in the berries work with greater effectiveness. The lesson of wild berries is the beauty born from adversity. Why do the sweetest fruits with the deepest colors often grow among sharp thorns and barren land? Because to create those colors of mercy, the plant had to endure dryness and intense heat. After 60, your body may begin to feel the thorns of pain, fatigue, or quiet sadness. But look at the berry. The harshness of time and the bitterness of experience have created the depth and value of who you are now. Berries teach gratitude for small gifts. They do not need a towering tree to bear fruit. They need only a little light and the persistence to rise from the brush. When you eat a berry, notice its gentle tartness and lasting sweetness. It is a reminder that the mercy of the Creator is present everywhere, even in hidden places. And in the hardest days of later life, let these colors fill your spirit, so you can see life through the eyes of compassion and hope that does not fade. You are not growing old. You are becoming richer and more precious, like wild berries shining under the sun. Number 7. Fermented goat yogurt, life in stillness and the lesson of transformation. Throughout the journey of the people of Israel, the image of a land flowing with milk and honey stands as the highest symbol of abundance and the care of the Creator. But why goat milk? In Proverbs 2:7-7, the word declares, "You shall have enough goats, milk, for your food, for the food of your household, and for the nourishment of your maidservants." In the land of the ancient Bible, the goat was a symbol of resilience and extraordinary survival. It fed on bitter herbs and thorny plants that others refused and transformed them into a stream of pure and rich milk. Goat milk was not only food, it was a living inheritance, passed through generations, a direct source of nourishment for the patriarchs and the prophets through years of hardship. As we enter the age of 60, the body faces a difficult biological truth. The gut microbiome, often called the second brain, begins to decline. Digestive enzymes decrease, making cow milk harder to process, leading to inflammation and discomfort. The perfect design of goat milk under microscopic analysis. The fat particles in goat milk are much smaller than those in cow milk, and its protein structure does not contain alpha-S1 casein, the primary cause of allergy and inflammation. This makes goat milk far more compatible with the sensitive digestive system of older adults. But the true power lies in fermentation. When goat milk is allowed to ferment into yogurt or kefir, a biological transformation takes place. Billions of beneficial bacteria, such as lactobacillus and bifidobacterium, awaken. They consume lactose, making the milk easier to digest while producing organic acids and vitamins B and K2, which are essential for directing calcium into the bones, helping prevent osteoporosis and arterial stiffness. Fermented goat yogurt becomes a living ecosystem, restoring balance and peace within the body. The secret lies in stillness and temperature. Making goat yogurt is a ritual of patience. You cannot force life. Preparation: use fresh, pure goat milk and warm it to the temperature of a gentle embrace, about 40 degrees Celsius. Do not boil it, because high heat will damage its valuable protein structure. Symbiosis: add a spoon of starter culture or kefir grains. At this moment, you introduce into the milk a promise of life. Stillness: this is the most important step. Place the container in a warm, dark, and completely quiet place. Over 12 to 24 hours, the microorganisms will do their work. They need silence to transform the liquid milk into a smooth and gently sour living food filled with strength. A bowl of goat yogurt with wild honey each morning is the best way to equip your immune system before the day begins. Fermented goat yogurt is the lesson of transformation. To become a more powerful healing food, the milk must pass through a period of rest in darkness and stillness. There is no noise, no haste, only a quiet change from within. After 60, life often slows down and many feel uneasy when they are no longer as busy as before. But look at the vessel of yogurt. It is in that stage of slowing and stillness that the highest nourishment and the strongest new life are formed. The greatest transformations in a human life do not happen in crowded places. They happen in the quiet of the soul and in the persistence of daily habits. Your later years are the most valuable stage of fermentation in your life. This is the time when you transform the bitterness of past experiences, like the goat that eats bitter herbs, into the sweetness of wisdom and peace for yourself and for the next generation. As you taste this goat yogurt, feel the coolness and the life spreading within you. It is a reminder that as long as you remain still in faith, the Creator knows how to turn every hardship into abundant blessing. You are being nourished, you are being transformed, and you carry within you the enduring life of a lasting covenant. My dear friend, we have just walked together through a 40-minute journey to uncover 7 longevity secrets hidden within ancient writings and within the very design of nature. Have you noticed something? Every food we have explored does more than nourish the body, it teaches us how to live. From humility, cleansing, strength, endurance, authenticity to renewal and transformation. Health, after 60, is not the result of a single miraculous remedy. It is the fruit of a life aligned with nature and a soul anchored in trust in the Creator. Begin today with the smallest changes in your own kitchen. Let every meal become a prayer, and every act of caring for yourself become an honoring of life. If this video has touched you, help us share this light with others who are also seeking restoration. Do not forget to subscribe, so we may meet again in the next secrets. May the temple of your body remain strong, your mind stay clear, and your soul be filled with deep and lasting peace. Peace be with you now and forever.